Welcome to Plan9Crunch. My name is Doug Gibson, and today we're having another installment in Plan9Crunch Reads a Page or Two from a Genre Novel. Today is Stephen King's The Shining. See this battered old paperback? I read a lot of Stephen King over and over. I probably read The Shining 25 times. It's a brilliant novel about a hotel which is haunted and exploits a young writer, a young failed writer, and puts his wife and child in jeopardy. And I'm going to read from this in just a second, but there are two film versions of this movie. One is Stanley Kubrick's, and it was made, oh gosh, 2 generations ago, and it's considered a classic today. Jack Nicholson and is in it, and Shelley Duvall plays his wife. King originally hated that version. I don't know if he still hates it or not, but he did oversee or try to get off. He did participate in a mini series that starred, I know, Rebecca De Mornay as the wife. And I actually enjoyed it, but it doesn't have the impact of Kubrick's film. And it really hasn't gotten much play since it came out. It is more faithful to the novel, though. Kubrick's film, while a magnificent film, does take quite a bit of liberties. Well, anyways, Danny is the son in this book. There's Jack, there's Wendy and Danny, and they're all in the middle of, the snow's everywhere. They just have nowhere to go except being in the hotel. And there's this room, okay? And Danny keeps thinking about it. Danny, by the way, has what you call The Shining, which is the name of the title, where he can communicate or know things and communicate with the dead and know things before they're going to happen. And he sees this room, and he's just drawn toward there. He knows he shouldn't go. He has a friend who also has a Shining who worked at the he's a cook at the hotel. It's called the Overlook, the hotel, who also has The Shining, and they were able to talk to each other without speaking. And the cook tells him to avoid these kind of urges. But Danny's a little boy, and he's curious. So let me read a little bit from The Shining. Yes, that's where it was, whatever it was, in there, in the bathroom. His double walked forward as if to escape the glass. It put its hand out, pressed it against his own. Then it fell away at an angle as the bathroom door swung open. He looked in. A long room, old-fashioned, like a Pullman car. Tiny white hexagonal tiles on the floor. At the far end, a toilet with the lid up. At the right, a wash basin and another mirror above it, the kind that hides a medicine cabinet. To the left, a huge white tub on claw feet, the shower curtain pulled closed. Danny stepped into the bathroom and walked toward the tub dreamily, as if propelled from outside himself, as if this whole thing was one of the dreams Tony had brought him, that he would perhaps see something nice when he pulled the shower curtain back, something Daddy had forgotten or Mommy had lost, something that would make them both happy. So he pulled the shower curtain back. The woman in the tub had been dead for a long time. She was bloated and purple, her gas-filled belly rising out of the cold, ice-rimmed water like some fleshy island. Her eyes were fixed on Danny's, glassy and huge, like marbles. She was grinning, her purple lips pulled back in a grimace. Her breasts lolled, her pubic hair floated. Her hands were frozen on the knurled porcelain sides of the tub like crab claws. Danny shrieked, but the sound never escaped his lips. Turning inward and inward, it fell down in his darkness like a stone in a well. He took a single blundering step backward, hearing his heels clack on the white hexagonal tiles. At the same moment, his urine broke, spilling effortlessly out of him. The woman was sitting up. Still grinning, her huge marble eyes fixed on him, she was sitting up. Her dead palms made squittering noises on the porcelain. Her breasts swayed like ancient cracked punching bags. There was the minute sound of breaking ice shards. She was not breathing. She was a corpse and dead long years. Danny turned and ran, bolting through the bathroom door, his eyes starting from their sockets, his hair on end like the hair of a hedgehog about to be turned into sacrificial croquet or roque ball. His mouth open and soundless, he ran full tilt into the outside door of 217, which was now closed. He began hammering on it, far beyond realizing that it was unlocked, and he had only to turn the knob to let himself out. His mouth pealed forth deafening screams that were beyond human auditory range. He could only hammer on the door and hear the dead woman coming for him. Bloated belly, dry hair, outstretched hand, something that had lain slain in that tub for perhaps years, embalmed there in magic. The door would not open, would not, and then the voice of Dick Halloran came to him, so sudden and unexpected, so calm that his locked vocal cords opened, and he began to cry weakly, not with fear, but with blessed relief. I don't think they can hear you. They're like pictures in a book. Close your eyes and they'll be gone. His eyelids snapped down, his hands curled into balls, his shoulders hunched with the effort of his concentration. Nothing there, nothing there, not there at all, nothing there, there is nothing. Time passed, and he was just beginning to relax, just beginning to realize that the door must be unlocked, and he could go when the year's damp, bloated, fish-smelling hands closed softly around his throat, and he was turned implacably around to stare into that dead and purple face. You know, Stephen King made his bones in the industry, became the legend as a horror writer. He writes many, many novels now with many, many different themes, but he earned his creds as a horror writer. And I remember picking up a Stephen King book as a teenager, so excited to start reading. It may have been The Dead Zone was the first one I read, but I read all of them. I probably read 80 to 90% of all his books. And I bought his anthologies. He's a superb writer. And The Shining is a really, really good book. So we urge you to read it. And this is Plan9Crunch Reads. And I'm Doug Gibson again, and we are on TikTok, we're on YouTube, we're on Facebook, we have a blog, and that's a wrap. Thank you.